to our pregame show tonight as the University of Georgia, the number one ranked team in the country, is about to take on the University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri tonight. Georgia comes in, of course, 4-0 on the season, number one ranked team, and we're getting ready. We've seen some shots of the stadium in Columbia, Missouri. It looks like a good crowd will be on hand. And of course, there'll be a lot of excitement at the beginning of the game by those Missouri fans. They have visions, I'm sure, of Missouri knocking off the number one team in the country, especially after maybe a little hope was given last week when Georgia really, you won the game. You won the game. So you're happy about that. But Georgia really was not the dominant team that you wanted to see on the field against Kent State. So there might be just a maybe a little drizzle of hope in Columbia, Missouri, as Georgia takes on Missouri in an SEC East matchup. Now, I'll tell you the latest line that we've seen on the game is Georgia is a 29.5 point favorite, a 29.5 point favorite over Missouri. And that line has grown over the last couple of days, and it's even grown today. So, those guys out in wherever, Las Vegas or wherever they set those odds, they feel pretty confident about Georgia winning in this game tonight. By the way, we're on Facebook on Dogs on Demand, our Facebook page, as well as our Instagram page as well. We're dual broadcasting tonight, which is kind of cool. By the way, you may not know this, but Dogs on Demand on Instagram has over 121,000 followers. We're one of the largest Instagram pages dedicated to University of Georgia football and athletics. And we're called Dogs on Demand. So if you're on Facebook and you've never checked us out on Instagram, let me encourage you to go to Instagram and check us out, Dogs on Demand. And of course, on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, we're on at Dogs on Demand Football News as well. So we're joining both groups tonight, which is kind of cool. And it takes a little production to do that, but that's all right. And also, by the way, as we anticipate this game coming up, we are presented by Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, when you go to Sanford Stadium and you're sitting in the stands and you see all of the sponsors, the stadium sponsors, and you see their signs and you see all of this, that, and the other that is presented. And we appreciate the sponsors making Georgia athletics possible and to a great extent. Of course, you'll see the signage for Southeast Mortgage. Now, in these days, if you're going to buy a home or if you're going to refinance a home, you kind of scratch your head and say, what do I do next? Well, let me tell you, please, and this is just no homer kind of talking kind of thing. Southeast Mortgage, the folks at Southeast Mortgage, they are dedicated to helping you to do what you need to do when it comes to your home, whether it's to finance your home or refinance your home. You can contact the folks at Southeast Mortgage, and you can go online, Southeast Mortgage / Georgia Bulldogs, and you'll find contact information there. Those are great folks, and we know them personally. You know what it is, a rigmarole it is to try to finance, a home or refinance a home, especially in these days that we're in with all of this economic stuff going on. You really need help, and that's a very important decision in someone's life, obviously. And it takes a lot of expertise to make sure you get everything exactly the way that it needs to be done, and you get the best service and the best, I don't know, price. Just check out those guys, Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs, and they are our sponsor here tonight and all throughout this football season. So if you're joining us on Instagram, hey guys, good to have you with us. You're joining us on Facebook. We're happy to have you with us as well. Of course, football is going on today. I did everything I needed to do to get all of my work done, and I have been ensconced in my recliner today and enjoying college football. Some interesting games going on. Right now, it does appear as if Alabama will pull away from Arkansas. It was kind of a dicey thing, going on in Fayetteville, Arkansas. today. Alabama got off to a big lead, and then Arkansas, the third quarter came back and had that onside kick, and they came back within 5 points of Alabama. But it does appear as if Alabama now is going to go ahead and win that game. The one of the big news in that game is apparently Bryce Young has some kind of injury. Now he's back on the sideline. He's not back in the game. The backup quarterback for Alabama is playing. But something to keep your eye on is the extent of the injury to Bryce Young. Now he's clapping his hands. It could be a shoulder injury. It could be something that just out of precaution, they kept him out of the rest of the game. We don't know. We'll have more information about that later. But it does appear as if Alabama's going to win that game over Arkansas. Arkansas, gave it all they had, but just going to come up short. Now, a game I watched today, Ole Miss and Kentucky. And when I'm watching an SEC game, my first question that does not involve Georgia. My first question is, okay, who needs to lose in order to help Georgia? Or maybe maybe in some situations, who needs to win in order to help Georgia to win, like the SEC East or something like that. So as I looked at this game, obviously I was going to pull for Ole Miss. You want Kentucky, who's in the SEC East, to have an SEC loss hung on them. And that's exactly what happened in Oxford, Mississippi. But I want to tell you, Kentucky blew that game. Kentucky blew that game to high heavens. They had every opportunity to win that game. Just didn't happen. Final score, Ole Miss 22, Kentucky 19. The folks in Kentucky, the Kentucky fans, the folks in Kentucky have got to be, if it's physically able to kick yourself, you got to be kicking yourself. What a blown opportunity. Kentucky was the better football team than Ole Miss. But Ole Miss was able to win at home. Again, final score 22-19. Now that hangs a loss on Kentucky. And Kentucky, I think, came in the number 9 team in the country in the latest AP poll. And so Kentucky loses. Ole Miss winning 22-19. Now, of course, tonight, in just a few minutes, we'll be having Georgia and Missouri. And some of the things, we understand that Arian Smith, wide receiver Arian Smith, who hasn't played the last couple of games, is warming up, and apparently he will be available to play tonight. And A.D. Mitchell, however, is not on the field warming up. And so Arian Smith is warming up, so apparently he will be able to play tonight. Missouri, of course, lost last week to Auburn in Auburn. It was, it was not it was not a great college football game by any means last week. Let me just a little bit about Missouri, if I can negotiate myself around here to get my notes. Brady Cook is the quarterback for Missouri. He's a serviceable quarterback. Last week against Auburn, he was 14 for 24, had 179 yards passing, no touchdowns, one interception for Missouri. He also rushed 10 times for -1 yard. So, and he had a touchdown. Nathaniel Pete is the leading running back for Missouri. He carried the ball last week 20 times for 110 yards. He caught one pass for 7 yards. Dominic Lovett had 102 yards through the air on 5 catches last week for Missouri. Now, last week, of course, Georgia winning over Kent State. Now, we were in the stands for that game. And by the way, if you're a Dish Network, if you're on Dish Network, I'm sorry. Apparently Dish Network has pulled all ESPN, from what I understand, all ESPN channels, including the SEC network, which Georgia will be on the SEC network tonight. So if you're on Dish Network, I'm sorry. Now, personally, and this is no, endorsement of anything, but I've been on DirecTV, me and my family. We've been on DirecTV forever, it seems like, for well over 20 years. Very satisfied with DirecTV. No issues. We're able to watch the Braves. Go Braves, by the way. There'll be a lot of flipping back and forth tonight. If you're a Georgia fan and a Braves fan like I am, you're going to be you're going to have the Braves on your phone, and you're going to have the Bulldogs on the TV, and you're checking it out. Yeah, the SEC network is not on Dish, but it is on Hulu. Is that right? Yeah, it is on Hulu. So, I if you're not on DirecTV or some of these other streaming services, and you woke up this morning and your ESPN was not there, I'm sorry. I didn't have anything to do with it, but I'm sorry. Anyway, Georgia winning last week, of course, over Kent State, 39-22. Okay, it's a victory, and we were happy, but a little disappointed. We were expecting Georgia to really take it to Kent State and blow the game out, and yada yada yada. So, but it didn't happen, and so okay, we got our good Alabama friend says that Alabama eked out one over Arkansas. That was a that was it was a good game. Arkansas showed out. Alabama, the talent level in Alabama is pretty good. It's pretty good, and even without Bryce Young, that's a pretty stout team. So congratulations to Alabama winning, and we do hope that Bryce Young is going to be okay. He's seems like a fine young man, great quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner from last season. You don't want to see anybody you don't want to see anybody get, injured and not able to play. I don't like that at all for Georgia or for anybody. So we hope he's going to be okay and able to get back in there for Alabama. Also today, TCU took out Oklahoma 55-24. 55-24. Who would have thunk that? Um, who would have thunk that? TCU with a big win over Oklahoma. Oklahoma now with 2 losses on the season, and you pretty well, they're done as far as being in the college football playoffs. We have a question. What happened to Bryce Young? Apparently, he hurt his shoulder. He was flushed from the pocket, running toward the sideline. He was tackled, and he fell on his shoulder. Stayed in the game for a play or two, and then he felt like something was not right. So apparently it could be a rotator cuff situation or something like that. I haven't seen any reports on exactly what it is. But Bryce Young went out of the game, but he was on the sideline later, appeared to be okay. Mississippi State is beating Texas A&M. Absolutely. Go Bulldogs. I mean, can I say that? Mississippi State, of course, Georgia's got to play Mississippi State in Starkville. So, but Mississippi State taking care of Texas A&M tonight in Starkville. And there's just something about Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. They're easy to root for to lose. Can we say that? Is that okay? Is that bad sportsmanship? No, it's just the truth. So Mississippi State is winning and should go ahead and win. By the way, Georgia's spread now is 29.5 points. It was 24 points, I think, earlier in the week. So, those guys who do whatever or whoever make that up, they feel pretty confident that Georgia's going to take care of business. Now, this is the way I am. When Georgia plays an SEC opponent, I don't care who it is. I'm nervous. That's the way it is. They can be playing Vanderbilt or whoever. I'm nervous. When they go on the road to play an SEC opponent, I'm really nervous. I want them. I don't want Georgia to mess up. I want them to win. I'm confident they're going to win this game tonight. But do you get that way? Do you get that way? Texas A&M, terrible. Yeah. Texas A&M has some issues, and I agree. Texas A&M has some issues. So anyway, so Georgia 29.5 point favorite. And I was watching the games today and I was making notes. And I found this. This is kind of interesting. And I hate to say this because how you can say something and it'll jinx, it'll jinx something. I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Georgia is the only FBS team who has not trailed all season. Did you know that Georgia is the only SEC, only the only FBS team in the entire country who has not trailed this entire season. So you know what that means. Missouri's going to kick a field goal and lead 3-0. 3.5 minutes left in the game. Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. So I think Mississippi State's going to do that. So that's an interesting. Georgia hasn't trailed in a game this season. So I hope I don't jinx our Bulldogs. Go Bulldogs. By the way, I saw this note today. Now this is kind of cool. This is in the really cool department tonight. Mike Tomlin is the longtime head football coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like Pittsburgh. I like the Steelers. They're okay. My favorite team is the Falcons. I'm a long-suffering Falcon fan. It's the way it is. But hey, Falcons won last week against Seattle, of course. But Mike Tomlin is the longtime head football coach for Pittsburgh. His daughter has signed a scholarship with the University of Georgia gymnastic team. She is a commit for the 2024 class of the Georgia Gym Dogs. Mike Tomlin's daughter. Did I get her name? Did we get her name? We'll get her name because she deserves to have her name mentioned. But Mike Tomlin, the head football coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, his daughter's coming to UGA. Now, Mike Tomlin comes every year to Pro Day at UGA. Comes every year. He'll be coming a lot more in the future. And congratulations to Mike Tomlin's daughter as well. And by the way, Mississippi just intercepted a pass, running back for a touchdown, 41-17. So Mississippi State is obviously going to win that game against Texas A&M, which is good. I like that. I picked Mississippi State to win. By the way, I was making some notes today. You know that Allstate commercial? You know the Allstate, the guy who does the mayhem. I know people get aggravated with the commercials. That Fansville commercial stuff with Dr. Pepper, and some of that's okay. Not, I like the Larry guy myself, but it's okay. But the Allstate commercial where Mayhem is the best man at the wedding, and he's watching the game, and at his best, I guess his best buddy's wedding, and he's watching the game, and then he falls over, and everything falls, and he says, "Yay, touchdown!" That is the best commercial. That wins the Chris Hall Award for the best commercial on television. I love it. That's just a personal aside, personal opinion. By the way, okay, Aaron Judge is about to hit his 62nd home run. He didn't do it today. The pressure on the dude is like, of course. But what is he? 6'7", 280, or whatever he is. He's a huge guy. But this, in football games, college football games, having a side-by-side with Aaron Judge going for his 62nd home run, that just doesn't jive. Why are we doing that? Why? If he hits the home run, then you break in at a commercial break and say, Aaron Judge has hit the home run, and here it is. But don't stick Aaron Judge side by side in a college football game. Is that? Okay. Well, that's just me. So anyway, all right. So we are about 10 minutes away from kickoff for the University of Georgia SEC game on the road against Missouri in Columbia, Missouri. Are you as nervous as I am? Are you having a stroke? No. No, I'm just having fun. It's college football. Let's have fun. Absolutely. So listen, we're going to be back here at halftime. And so if you have a comment at halftime about anything you want to talk about the game, we'll be back here at halftime, and we'll give you the opportunity to throw in your 2 cents worth in and what is happening with Georgia. Go Dogs. Let's get this game, out of reach pretty quickly here, so that we can enjoy ourselves and flip over to the Braves every now and then and see what's, if you're a Brave fan. Now, you may not be a Braves fan, but go Braves. So, all right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys on Facebook for joining us and on our Instagram page. as well. And we'll be back here at halftime, give you the opportunity to put your 2 cents worth in with what is happening with the University of Georgia. Until then, go Dogs.